Is it just me, or is the discussion of Persona 3 Reload kind of polarizing? Like, there are people who say this is a flop of a remake and it missed so many opportunities to stick the landing. I myself made a video talking about how Reload failed to solve the Persona 3 problem. While I didn't intend to, I probably ended up adding to this overtly negative tone surrounding the remake's discussion. I actually think Reload is a good game, and you should experience Persona 3 in some way at least once in your gamer life. Persona 3 is a monumental game in the JRPG world. It freshened up the RPG genre with a modern setting and mature, down-to-earth themes. It even started its own subgenre, which I guess you could call Persona-likes, which I think should be discussed more than it is, but we'll save that discussion for another time. With Persona 3 being a game that was released in 2006, it definitely wears its age for better or worse depending on who you ask. I for one am in the camp of loving almost everything about the game. Yes, even the fact that I cannot directly control my party. Oh, how I miss you, Mitsuru, that would use Marin Karen at the most inopportune times. Anyways, yeah, the game has some years on it, so a remake was sort of desired and eventually given to us by the good graces of Atlus. The animation and art style is beautiful in the remake. It follows the original story beats of the game, practically spot on by adding some extra character building moments for some of the cast. There are many quality of life changes to the gameplay as well. Do y'all remember having to go back and forth in the fusion menu to try to make that perfect set of skills for your persona, only for Igor to fuck it up and accidentally turn your shirt into an Aura Mitama that with fire amp so that way the next beat drop of mass destruction would be really, really hot? Now we can just pick what skills we want to get passed on in Fusion. Ain't that great? Fatigue is gone. You can control your party members directly, which is a huge change. You get access to more places at night. Doing something in the dorm on your day off doesn't take up your entire day. And a number of other changes have been made to the remake, all amounting to an easier gaming experience overall. The game is easier, which is a point of criticism by some. That and the fact that Mitsuru realized that her family has infinite money so she can afford to pay the electric bill and finally turn on all the lights in the dorm are the biggest complaints I see being discussed. The mood surrounding the game is definitely more gloomy and ominous in the PS2 version. As a result of the darkness, while I believe that it added to the tone of the game being more dire, I can't say its absence is purely a negative aspect of the remake. If anything, it adds to the tone of the dorm being a safe space to connect with your party members on matters other than fighting monsters. The game overall is brighter, the combat is easier. Whether you think that is a positive or negative thing is truly up to you. I do feel the need to say though that the combat is lacking in depth. Not being able to control your party member and only set their AI to focus on certain actions puts more weight on your single directly controlled decision. You need to plan multiple turns ahead. The way that Persona 3 Reload's combat is designed, you really only need to plan for the next turn in most cases. While being lacking in depth sounds like a criticism with an overall negative perspective, I do want to iterate that the two combat systems are really just different. I don't think one is objectively better, unlike some people.
These substantial gameplay improvements.
And there was fun to be had in P3R's combat. That being said, I still do enjoy Persona 3 and FES's take on the combat the most. It's called preference, yo. I've gone quite a bit without getting into something that sort of prompted me to make this video, which is my last Persona 3 Reload video. The response to that video was interesting. I got some thoughtful responses, and then I got people correcting me for saying that a certain character's death was retconned in Reload, when it in fact happened in FES. They let me know a lot. I want to get something out of the way about that. That retcon happening is still a disservice to the game's story and theme of life. But in my video, I did frame it as a negative quality exclusive to Reload, which I now realize is not, and is in fact a negative quality also in FES as well. albeit the story edition is much more well hidden in FES, so much so that I did not know about it until after multiple playthroughs in 13 years. I did also get a few comments disagreeing with the retcon being undermining the theme of the game, but their arguments really just amounted to nuh-uh. So I don't really know if I can explain why I feel this way in more detail, or if it's just something that's going to fall on deaf ears if I do explain it. So I'll leave it at that. Oh yeah, Persona 3 Reload is good. That's the point of the video. I almost forgot. Seriously though, a different combat system from the original, retcon story element being intact. These are things I do wish were different, but alas, we got the game we got. A game with an intriguing story, snappy combat, convenient RPG mechanics, and great art direction. If this was my first impression of Persona 3, I would be thrilled. It would probably be my favorite video game all over again. But it is not. I am someone who played the original, FES, and portable versions multiple times. And no, that doesn't mean I know better than newer fans, but just that my perspective is different. I can really sympathize with players who've been fans of the series since as far as the original Persona 3, or even the original Persona, or even SMT. Those players may want a darker tone and harder combat system. I miss those things too. Persona 3 Reload takes some and gives some, but at the core of it remains the same themes that make Persona 3 Persona 3. While there was definitely a big helping of nostalgia flowing through as I watched the credits roll, I was still moved by the game's ability to communicate the message that life is fleeting, but there is beauty to behold in every day. Thanks for watching. If you feel so inclined to comment on this video, that would be rad. Just do so with humility, as I try to express my points in this video with such as well. I love Persona 3. I feel myself becoming more fond of Reload as time passes. I want to make more videos like this, so if you enjoy this sort of thing, subscribing would help you update and when my next one comes up, and it helps me out a ton. Thank you again, and take care.